Hey, welcome back to the Sunday IcePack analysis for UFC Vegas 50. We're going to go over the pizza money picks, the analysis picks by me, Grant Emmerich's BCDC analysis. BCDC is before the cage door closes. And then we're going to go over our machine learning picks, our straight picks, aka who won the fight. And then we're going to do our machine learning picks for our distance. So whether the fight went the distance or not, and we have machine learning now up and available for those. And then we are going to talk about the trend data versus fight analysis versus doing both. And then we're going to talk a little bit about IQ for UFC fighters, Silva versus Perez particularly. And then things to come, which is going to be a PFL write-up and Glory Kickboxing announcement for data content. So first off, pizza money picks. Didn't do as hot as we thought we were going to do this week. I'm not going to lie. Really thought that we had some good edge, providing solid picks. Robertson, Brent, Roundtree going first round. That didn't happen. Ankalaev with a KO plus 110. That didn't happen. We did get Song Yadong winning, which was plus 100 for that. Or just winning 100, excuse me. It was negative, a favorite, risking more. And then minus 135, we had Pereira winning by KO. That did not happen. And then Chris versus Canetti, and Chris did not win, which was a minus 145 straight pick. So we totaled a minus 380 for negative profit there. So it was a tough night. Kind of went back to the week, not this past week, but 2 weeks prior, just having a tough go, and we'll do some more research on maybe some more sure things. But I don't want to provide just straight picks to you guys, because then that just kind of goes back to our machine learning stuff, or just our analysis picks by Grant or myself. So just want to put that out there and just let you guys know. And then next, our analysis picks. I do want to go over one thing. I do happen to provide the main event, and it does seem that sometimes the main event isn't as hard to figure out. Let's just be honest. Magomed minus 600 or minus 550, depending on where you're getting it. You kind of know that Magomed probably will win that fight. So I'm going forward, try to pick more 50-50 fights or 60-40 fights, stuff that's in between. So what I mean by that is minus 110 to about minus 170 odds for that, and try to do more of those picks. I don't want to do so many picks where it's kind of straight up, the answer maybe already from yourself, from what you're doing research-wise. I want to provide maybe more 50-50 kind of content. And then next, and just to summarize that, that's plus 200 for those fights. And so that's minus 180 summary. And then Grant BCDC analysis picks went 7 and 6, minus $65 or less than a unit. But he is 2.95 units, $295 plus. And then our machine learning picks were 42 out of 61 in the last 61 fights, 68.8%, 276 and 161 total. So over 442 picks total, or 62.4%. We had minus $35 total missing on that. And, our machine learning picks did try to get a couple underdogs. One that I disagreed with, which I wrote about on the analysis, which was the Pereira-Silva fight. Our machine learning model had Silva, which I personally didn't see that happening. But again, it's a system. It's a machine learning model. It's going to know this information better than me on a majority or a consistent level. And if you don't believe that, then go check out my blog from way back when in 2020. That talks about human predictions versus an algorithm prediction, and just see how it trends over time and how the algorithm does do better than a human based on just consistency. And then lastly, for just our picks, we did the distance picks. We just came out with that on Thursday, I believe, maybe Friday. And, we did 7 and 3 and plus $280 there. So we did great with our, coming out with our distance picks. And obviously, all of our other stuff, we're going to work to get better content, get better picks, just so then you guys feel great about it. And my next topic I'd like to talk about is trend data and fight analysis. So just purely what you feel or opinionated, and then doing both, right? So there's the going and looking at historical data, using that historical data to your advantage, which we try to provide to you. And then secondly, we obviously, most of us love to do an opinion and who we think is going to win based on non-algorithmic picks, which I obviously provide those kind of picks as well. But I always provide it with data too. And I do think that, lately this past week, somebody talked about how they just thought that this fighter was better. But when we look at the data, we look at new fighters and we see that, hey, 39% of fighters, when they make their debut in the UFC, they win. Only 39%. And that's not including the inflation of when a new fighter fights a new fighter. So that kind of ups it a little bit more. And I know this is a lot of math, so don't lose me here. But 39% really should be like 35%, maybe even 30%. Because how many times does it happen where a new fighter fights another new fighter? So really, my goal in this is to get you to look at the data and to also use your fight analysis, use your opinion, but use it with data. So you have the best of both worlds and you're able to make a clear, concise pick and make money yourself. And that's what some of you guys are doing. You guys are sending me either DMs, you're sending me messages on my comments of what we're tweeting. And I have to say, you guys are killing it. There's somebody that just made over $1,000 just picking some of our machine learning picks and using it to their advantage and how they want to bet, whether that's using it in a parlay, whether it's doing a straight pick. You guys are absolutely killing it. And I can't thank you guys enough for sending it over DMs, because you guys want to keep it to yourself and keep it between us, which is fine. But also you guys are posting it even on your comments. So I really appreciate the public ones as well. The public ones help with just word of mouth. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But just really want to focus on this subject. And I know I keep hitting on it, but please don't just go with your opinion. Please have some data to back it up. I think that's what this content is for. And next, Silva versus Pereira. I want to talk about the IQ, right? We have IQ for these fights, and we talk about that. That's how the rankings are built. That's how Usman is number one, because he knows where to go with the fight. Whether he's fighting Masvidal, he knows to take him down the first short notice fight. Whether he's fighting Covington, he knows he needs to do a striking fight because he has the power. I really think there's something to say about an MMA fighter knowing what they're good at, but knowing what their opponent might not be as good as they are. Even if it is uncomfortable for them to be in that kind of fight, they purely know which way to go in the fight. And I think Silva tried to get some wrestling in, tried to do the right thing. But again, maybe chain wrestling is better there instead of trying to do a little bit of striking in. Maybe it is I just try to get them as close as I possibly can to the fence. And those knees were rough on Silva. It looked brutal the way Alex was hitting them. And obviously that left hook is coming from, I don't know. He just got a left hook of power. So just want to talk about that and how it goes into our rankings with IQ and, who is a really smart fighter and who's also a really talented and historically great fighter. Who's that? And I think those rankings kind of speak for that. And that's why, sometimes even though you're a champion, you're not the best fighter in your weight class. You're not. Sometimes it's just, hey, I got to fight, Jan Blachowicz, and, I was lucky that I got to fight him first, kind of thing. And maybe it's not luck, but I do kind of think that some fighters just match up better, and sometimes that MMA math can be handy to an extent. Whether you're using more data is definitely the key there. And enough about my rambling. Last things to talk about, new things to come. We have a PFL write-up that I talked about earlier, and this is going to be on a fighter we're projecting to win the lightweight championship. I kind of gave it a little bit away, but we're looking at their historical data and how they can go from being non-champion to champion this year for PFL. And we're going to do a great write-up on that, and we'll have that published to you guys on Tuesday for you guys to read and get more caught up on the PFL content that we're going to provide from a data perspective and an opinion and analysis perspective. And next, we have the Glory Kickboxing Analysis. So we will be posting on Friday a kickboxing analysis for you guys to go to. I think right now the biggest sports book that has it on them is Unibet. So Glory Kickboxing available for Unibet. I don't like doing a promotion for a certain sports book, but I do want you guys to know where it's available to you. And so there's Glory Kickboxing Analysis that we're going to do. We're going to break down Bader Hari, and Ben Sadiq versus Writers. And we're going to talk about those fights. And then we are also going to post on Friday night instead of Saturday. We're going to post Friday night machine learning picks, straight picks for kickboxing. So then you guys can place your bets before 3 o'clock Eastern time with those fights. So it'll be right around the same time as the UFC. So you guys are going to get UFC content. You're going to get a bunch of UFC content and that Glory Kickboxing content and a little bit of PFL sprinkled in there for either some salt or some icing, however you want to look at it with that cherry on top. Thank you guys so much. I know it wasn't the best week, but we will be back. And like I've said before, using algorithmic trading or just sports betting is going to be more efficient in the long run over just an opinion base. I promise you that. Be careful with who you go with, and obviously take our picks, but use your analysis as well. Make the money that you guys are doing. I know you guys are sending those DMs and comments, and we really appreciate that. So just be focused. We'll be ready to provide better picks, better pizza money, and get those delivery fees paid for right on time. So thank you guys very much. Enjoy the fights next week. Enjoy the content. We are out of here. Bye, guys.